Hey everyone, I'm Doglightning, a high elo off meta support main, and this week we are doing my Anivia support guide for season 12, so stay tuned. So we're going to be going over runes, items, some combos, and some gameplay stuff, and we're going to start with the runes. So to start off with runes, I have right now two main rune pages that I'll run, Comet and Glacial, but you can go Electrocute or Dark Harvest, although I'm not going to go over those pages because that's not what I run. But to start off, my Comet page. So the reason why I like Comet over Electrocute or Dark Harvest is for one simple reason. Anivia doesn't have a way to face check bushes, and Comet is really good for this. You can throw your ulti over a wall into a bush or throw your Q into a bush, and if it procs Comet, you know if someone's in there, which allows you to go get vision safely alone without your teammate, which is the main reason why I like this rune over other ones. Also, your Comet really synergizes with your Q stun. Usually in lane, you're going to be throwing your Q stun into your E, and your Q stun, when it hits, it'll always land the Comet, so it synergizes really well. Mana Flaban, because obviously Anivia really needs mana. Transcendence for CDR, and I like to get Water Walking only because Anivia has the slowest move speed in the game, and I just really want something to help her get those early roams up river and help the jungles, so I like Water Walking. But you can also go Gathering Storm if you want to scale a bit in lower elo and you just want to, you weren't going to roam. This is a good option too. For secondary runes, I go Zombie Ward again for extra 30 AP is really important and good, but you can also go Ghost Poro if you prefer. And finally, I go Relentless Hunter because, again, Anivia, slowest champ in the game, and she really just needs some extra move speed. With that, I like to go Ability Haste rune because Anivia's wall is like a 20-second cooldown, and lowering it is really important. AP and Armor. So this is my Comet page, and like I said, you can go Electrocute or Dark Harvest, but I think you really want Comet to help you get the vision control. After that, I have my Glacial page, so let me quickly set it up here for y'all. Okay. So this is my Glacial page. Now you might be thinking, why Glacial on Anivia? It sounds kind of redundant. Well, it kind of is, right? So Glacial slows the enemy by 30%, and Anivia's ulti slows by 30%, so there's almost no point to it if you think of it like that. But there's a key reason why I like this rune. Anivia's wall, the knockup, I'll show you later in game 2 when we get to that part, but Anivia's wall, the knockup, actually procs Glacial. So if you hit them with a wall, the Glacial goes on the ground and they're slowed, you can start auto-attacking them, and as you see which way they're going to be going around the wall, you can throw your Q and land a guaranteed stun. It also helps you land it on a more dashy champions. Say it's an Ezreal, you hit the wall on him, it puts Glacial, he E's over the wall, and now he's still slowed, and I can still hit my Q on him from over the wall. I really like this rune, especially the utility it adds where it does the damage reduction in team fights. So once you get to the point where you have your ulti and it's a bit redundant, it still means that anyone in your ulti, when you hit them with the combo and put your ult down, they're still doing 15% less damage to your teammates, so it's still useful in that situation. I definitely say it's more niche and maybe a bit more memey, but you know what? If you find yourself struggling to hit your Qs on Anivia, which to be honest, I a lot of the times do, I'm too hasty and throw it too quick and don't wait, this rune will really help you. So after that, I go Free Boots. Again, Anivia has the slowest move speed in the game. Since in this page, I can't go Relentless Hunter, I go Free Boots because it actually gives you an extra 10 move speed on your boots, and I combo this with Swifties later, and I'm basically going to be moving almost the same speed as everyone else, just slightly faster. So Magical Footwear and Biscuit Delivery and Cosmic Insight. Biscuit Delivery for early game mana and for mana pool, and Cosmic Insight because it's just really good, reduces your flash cooldown, but you can go Time Warp Tonic if you want if you're in a higher lane. And then for my secondary page, again, Anivia has mana issues, so we need Mana Flow Ban. And then again, I go Water Walking. Here I think it's less of an option because, again, since I'm taking Free Boots, you're going to really want this to help you roam up the river and help your team in the early game until you get your Magical Footwear boots. And again, CDR, AP, and Armor. So yeah, these are my two rune pages. I guess quickly before I go, even though I don't run these pages, I'll show you what I would run if I was going an Electrocute page, just for any of y'all who want to run that kind of stuff. So yeah, if I was going to go Electrocute or Dark Harvest, this is what I would go, but I don't personally run these. But you can try it out if you don't like the other pages. Anyways, we're going to go on to the items now. Okay, now for Anivia's builds that I run. So before I get into the builds, make sure you like and comment and subscribe on the video if you enjoyed. And there's a playlist that should appear up above. I'm doing one video a week of my off-meta guides. So far I've done Vex, Nico, and Talia support. We're adding Anivia, and depending on when you see this video, I could have added more. I'm going to be doing the future Zach, LeBlanc, Zoe support, and a few others like Ivern. So yeah, check that out if you enjoy it. But anyways, let's get into the build. So to start off, my core build and the options. So my core build is Spell Thieves, CDR boots, Shattered Queen, Zanya's, Morello's, and Watchful Wardstone, but you can swap out any of these things for other options. So for instance, when I'm going this Glacial build, because right now I have the Glacial runes on, I like to go the Swifty boots because Anivia is super slow and I don't have Relentless Hunter. So I combo the free boots where I get 10 move speed off of that, and I combo the 15 extra move speed from Swifties where I'll actually move almost the same speed as most champs. Some champs will still move a bit faster than me even with all of this, but yeah, that's what I like to go if I'm going that. But if I'm not going the Glacial build, my normal item item would be going the Boots of Lucidity for CDR, because Anivia's wall is a long cooldown and it doesn't go down with points in it. So yeah, I just want to get on a low cooldown. Before I get more into the build, I guess I'll quickly show you guys what I was talking about with the Glacial. So if you hit an enemy with the wall, it puts Glacial in front of them and behind them, and if they tried to jump over the wall as an Ezreal, they'd still be slowed, so it'd be easier for you to hit them with a stun or something. So I can actually show that, I guess, too. So I can hit the Glacial, right, and say they eat over the wall and they end up on this side of the wall. They're slowed and you can still hit them with the stun and hit them with a combo. So I really like this in terms of lane. It really helps. And in team fights, I would say Comet doesn't do that much in a team fight anyways, and the Glacial damage reduction is really useful too still. So yeah, that's that. But let's get back into the build. So to start off, for mythic options, you can really get any of them. I'd say it's usually Everfrost or Shattered Queen, depending on comp. Shattered Queen, as everyone knows, is super useful because it makes it so that you can't get bursted. So if they have a lot of assassins who are going to be jumping on you, like a Talon, Lee Sin, Rengar, any of these things, this is really useful because you can play as a control mage where you're just zoning the enemy out, doing your thing, and if an assassin ends up jumping on you, you're not going to get one shot and you can maybe kite them out and live. So Shattered Queen is super useful in those situations. But yeah, I'll go over the options after I go over the main build, I guess. So after that, I go Zhonya's. So the reason, someone following me while I'm off stream, Pog. I stream 5 days a week. Wasn't thinking about shouting that out, but it is what it is. So my Zhonya's, the reason you go Zhonya's on Anivia is because you can actually ulti and then Zhonya's, and it keeps your ult up. So this is, again, super useful. So say an assassin jumps on top of you. So say I'm here and this is an assassin who jumped on top of me. I can stun EM, ulti, and then Zhonya's, and they're stuck in this ulti. And then when I come out of it, I can hit them again and maybe wall them away from me and try to survive as long as possible. So Zhonya's is super core on Anivia because of this interaction. And I would almost always go this item every single game. Scratch it, I do go this item every game on Anivia second, as it's also cheap and very good for support. After that, usually you're going Morello's because most, let's face it, in this day and age, someone always needs to get anti-heal, and Anivia is really good at planning it because you can just AoE apply it to the enemy. So yep, and as a good support always should, Wardstone final. But if you're in a lower elo where you want to carry your games and games are going on super late, you could swap it out for any of these options. But yeah, in my elo, I'm always going Wardstone. Excuse me. Alright, so for the more options. So for boot options, if you don't want to go CDR, you want more carry. Like I said, Glacial, I usually go Swifties. If you want more carry potential, you can go Pen Boots to do more damage, especially early in lane. Magic Resist Boots if you need MR. If they have a lot of APs, like in a LeBlanc or something, I'll go this. I usually don't go the Armor Boots because you get enough armor from Zhonya's, but you don't get any Magic Resist in your build, really. So I would get Merc Treads if they have like an AP Assassin. And Moby Boots are actually really, really good too. You could get this with the Glacial also. Again, Anivia's super slow move speed, so getting an item that helps you move quicker is just super useful. So outside of that, we can go into now the options for your mythic. So outside of the Shattered Queen, Everfrost is super good, cheap item. It's super good because, again, you can throw your Q out, right, and you combo, and then you Everfrost them. Oh, it was on the wrong key. You stun them into an Everfrost, and you can just keep them sitting in your ulti for a long time. So Everfrost is a good option to just give CC chain if you want, if you don't need the protection of the crown. I don't really go Liandry's that often, mostly because supports are under-leveled and you're super low HP. And if you rush Liandry's first item, you're just going to be super squishy. But if their team is just a ton of tanks, this can be good because obviously HP per second being dealt is really strong against tanks. And finally, I used to run this last season before they got the cheaper mythics, but I haven't really run it much this season, but it's still amazing for the simple reason if your team is lacking engage and stuff, you can use Shirelius to empower your allies to get engages, or you can Shirelius get yourself into range to hit a wall and make a pick yourself. So Shirelius is a really good option too, especially with Glacial. Now that I just did that, I just realized how good this actually is with Glacial, where you can go in and put your wall down and hit the Glacial. So yeah, Shirelius is definitely still an option, but yeah. And then finally, third item option. So instead of Morello's, if you don't need the anti-heal, if you want more burst, you can go Void Staff to do more damage. If you need magic resist, you can go Banshees. If they have a lot of tanks, you can go Demonic. And I haven't tried out Cosmic Drive, but definitely would synergize with her if you just need to help kiting people out. Again, if you're getting dove by assassins and stuff, you have your Shattered Queen, you have your Zhonya's, and then Cosmic Drive. They come in, you hit them with your combo, right? And you get like a move speed buff to help kite them out. So, yeah, Cosmic Drive is definitely an option too. So yeah, this is my usual build for Anivia. If you haven't got it yet, you can pause the video and copy it. But yeah, we're gonna now go on to some combos. Okay, now for some quick combos. So to start off, with my ability upgrade, I always max my Q first because Q actually does as much damage as your E basically per point, as long as you're hitting the double damage. So if you didn't know, your Q does damage when it hits on front. It did 498 damage, I think it said there. But if I hit it and let it go over the enemy and hit it, it does 652. So it does extra damage if it's going through the target and hitting them. And the damage per level is really good. The CDR, the abilities, cooldown goes down and the stun duration goes up. Really good stuff for support, so I usually max my Q first. I'll put up above my skill order. After that, I usually go W max, but you can go E max if you want, or just 3 points in W. And the reason why W max is really important, in my opinion, for support is you can see how small your wall is. And since this is like a really important tool for support, I'm just going to level everything up. So let's just put these in. See, this wall goes up with points per level. So that's my wall size, right? Now that's my wall size, right? Now that's my wall size. And by the time you get like 4 to 5 points in, you can almost here, we're at 4 points, you can almost block off the entrance. And now that I get 5 points in it, I can actually put my wall down and the enemy cannot get through the wall. You can actually fully, basically not get through the wall. If they go through there, you could stun them, right? And it's the same with going into like lanes and stuff. So if we were like split pushing down mid lane, right, and you can like literally block off the whole lane, I think this is super, super good for support. As you can see, I can't actually get through it. The only thing that Emax does is more damage. It doesn't really add anything for support, so that's why I do that. But again, you can go like 3 points W into Emax because it's kind of long enough, or you can even just go Emax if you want, depending on your elo. But anyways, for some combos, so your main combo is you're going to be hitting your E does double damage if they're chilled. So if you hit your Q, they get chilled, and then into an E, it does double damage, or your ulti, once it's full size, they get chilled, and then your E does double damage. So you're going to want to be hitting Q into E and with your R. Your wall also, you can use it to hit your Q. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to, unless you have Glacial where you're doing this and then going to be slowing. Oh, my Glacial was not cool. Unless you're doing that and putting the Glacial down and slowing them, what you actually want to do is you want to lead your shot with Q and then put a wall behind them to knock them into the Q so they can't run away. So yeah, that's like your main combo really is Q, W them into the Q, E, R. You have Everfrost them in, start auto-attacking. You know, they go on use Zanya's. And there's not much more other than that to say about your combos. So yeah, now I'm going to go into some lane tips for you guys. Okay, so for some lane tips. So first of all, I would say Anivia is like super good into tank supports because the fact that her egg makes her come back to life. Basically, when Anivia dies, she turns into an egg and she comes back alive. This makes it so that if they tunnel you and your ADC goes on their ADC, you should win because you're going to come back to life and your ADC is just DPSing. And into enchanter supports and stuff, it can be a bit more hard because it can be hard for you to land your abilities and get kills, but you can still do it. A lot of the times with Anivia early in lane, you're just standing max range and throwing autos at the enemy. Anivia can outrange almost every ADC. There's only a few she can't. Caitlyn, Jhin, and maybe Senna was the last one. No, it was Jinx. Jinx with her rockets, Jhin, and Caitlyn are the only ADCs that outrange you. Every other ADC, if you're standing max range, you can auto them, and they can't hit you back if you're spacing properly. So usually you're just auto-attacking to proc spell thieves, and you don't really want to waste your abilities. You're kind of playing like a disengaged character. But if you do find a chance for a pick, again, it's like your combos, you just throw it in, right, and you just find your pick and start doing damage. So level 1, you're just looking for usually a Q stun into an auto-attack and walk away. Level 2, I usually take my W, but you can take E. And level 2, again, all I'm looking for is I'm just throwing my Q out into a thing and start auto-attacking them, ignite them, and start DPSing with my ADC. Using your wall is super good sometimes against different supports. For instance, if a Nautilus is going to come, you never want to waste your W because you can always W right in front of yourself and block the Nautilus hook from yourself. Yeah, other than that, there's not much more to say about Anivia's support. It's pretty explanatory. I mean, you're just sitting, trying not to get caught, and just trying to land stuns on the enemy, right? And if you can land stuns on the enemy, you're going to have a good time, and if you can't, you're not. In terms of the mid-game, I would say that the only thing I would say is Anivia's big thing in teamfights is she's really good at zone control, right? So if you're doing a Baron over here, whoopsies, I'll put the enemies. Say you have a couple enemies coming from here, and you have a couple enemies coming from over... couple enemies coming from over here, right?
I have felt this corruption
awkward
before.
Oh, anyways, you have a couple enemies coming from there, and you have your allies are over here doing Dragon. Anivia is super good in these scenarios because you can put your wall down, ulti here, right? If they try to walk in, you can stun them, and you can solo zone out the enemy while you're doing objectives. And in team fights, it's basically the same thing. Like, say there's no objective, but say we were doing a team fight, so we're in mid, and say you got your allies, your backlines here, your front line's diving their backline, so there's their backline, right? and they have assassins trying to come in on the sides and stuff, right? Like, again, you can just like kind of be zoning people out, trying to do damage, right? Your job of Anivia is you're trying to protect your backline and just zone the enemy with good walls, good stuns, and good Rs. And yeah, that's basically your job as Anivia. So if you guys have any questions for Anivia, feel free to ask in the comments below. Again, I'm going to be uploading one guide per week on Fridays. So yeah, make sure you subscribe so you can see my next guide. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking maybe Zach next week. So yeah, if that's what you want to see, make sure you come back next week and enjoy the content, guys.